Jamie's MacBook Pro.
Promise you that I won't fuck up. From now on I'll be better forever. And I promise you that I will stay focused. Only you in my bed like I once said. But only if you stay and help me find a way. What if I promise you that I won't fuck up? From now on I'll be better forever. At least for one more day. just been born. Yeah, you come to raise me up when I'm beaten and broken up. And now I'm back in the arms of love. And I think I just died. I think I just died. Yeah, I think I just died. I think I just died. I went to heaven. I went to heaven. I went to heaven. I think I just died. I went to heaven. There is a star that lights the road. Will it take me to the end? Well, I don't know. But for one last time, I'll take this ride and just drive. I wanna be the only one to make it to the light. I'll take it to the edge where I died 1,000 times. And maybe I could be the one right into the setting sun tonight. Just drive. Breathing out or breathing in. Broken down, but I will live to fight again for one last time. I take this ride and just drive. I wanna be the only one to make it to the light. I'll take it to the edge where I died 1,000 times. And maybe I could be the one right into the setting sun tonight. Just drive. There is a star that lights the road. Will it take me to the end? Well, I don't know. I wanna be the only one to make it to the light. I'll take it to the edge where I died 1,000 times. And maybe I could be the one right into the setting sun tonight.
Good evening, one and all. Welcome back once again to XFR's Formula 2 division. This time it's round 9 around the circuit Gilles Villeneuve here in Montreal. Once again, I'm joined by TES Gunhead, who has had a bit of time off, but once again, I'm glad to have him back. Excuse me. Welcome, Gunhead.
Well, thank you very much. Good to be back with a new controller, so my headset works properly, so people can hear me.
Yeah, you're not very quiet anymore, which is very good.
It's a miracle.
If we're going by any standards of last week's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, we are in for an absolute thriller here at Canada. If you haven't watched it, it's available still on Twitch and still on YouTube. But Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, 14 turns, 5 to the left, 9 to the right, and always a favourite among league racers on the Formula 1 games. How are you feeling about this race this evening, Conor?
Oh, I'm excited. Like you said, it's been a while since I've had the opportunity to join you in the comms box, and this is a very exciting league with a lot of evenly matched drivers. A track with the infamous Wall of Champions will be interesting to see if that catches any of our guys out today. So it's a great track to come back to. It's going to be great.
First track action of the two Alpha Tauris. Liner Stern.
Yeah, Joycey and TES Carroll going out.
Joycey missing last week. Carroll missing last week as well, I believe. Or not scoring that highly. I haven't actually got... Tell you what, let's go on the interweb and get Xbox F1 Rivals up, so I can actually look at the standings. That could be very, very helpful.
I would hope that you'd have a better idea than me, because as we've already touched upon, I've been out for a while. I mean, this track is like one of the best to watch. Obviously, you've got the complex of turn 1 and 2, which is known as the Senna S. We've got the Wall of Champions. We've got the Casino Corner. I think this is a great track.
That's Monaco.
No, this has got Casino Corner. It's turn 8 Casino Corner.
Oh, here we go.
It's got some French name
with the lobby. And Joycey's invalidated already.
Yeah, I mean, I knew we had some issues before, but then when we joined them, obviously I went first on board with Joycey. I had to mute the game audio and then unmute the game audio in order to actually get some car volume. So.
Oh, that's always good.
I think he would have done his. He would have done his teammate a huge favour there if he carried on going into the straight and giving him a good slipstream, going into the Wall of Champions. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is a really good corner. Is it corner? Track. Sorry, it's been a while. I'm gonna have to brush off the cobwebs.
Yeah, absolutely. So Carroll coming up to the infamous turn 13 and 14, better known as the Wall of Champions, as you said. Nicely cut.
For anybody that doesn't know the reason for it being called the Wall of Champions, it's because it's taken out, I think it was 3 or 4, I think, drivers. Damon Hill, I know. Michael Schumacher, I know. And Jacques Villeneuve, I believe. There are 3 champions that it is claimed over the years.
Hasn't it? I'm sure it's taken more than that out.
I think they're probably the 3 most infamous. I think they're 3 most infamous champions, like actual champions. That it's like of the year in which they crashed in it. Joycey,
yeah, so I do have.
Oh, he's still okay. He's not lost the wheel. He's ghosted. Oh, that was scary. nearly lost out.
Yes, big will. On the medium tyre, the Red Bull driver currently sat P5 in the championship on 59 points. Now, I can't wait to get my PC because I can actually do some visuals when I've got my PC, and hopefully
there's only one reason you want the PC. That's just so you can play Among Us on the PC. That's it. We know it. Everybody knows.
Oh, no, I've got it on my Mac. Map. I had £4 on my Steam wallet, so I bought it.
That's it. I had £4, I bought it.
So Will nicely through 13 and 14, staying away from the wall, getting a nice toe off of the
That's a
racing point.
good
It's
time for the
1:11.7 on the medium tyre.
1.6
Warder is-
back on TS Carroll's fastest lap of 1 minute 10.7.
Warder was on that, but he has invalidated. Who would be the next driver? There'd be...
That would be the Mercedes. Oh, sorry, after Warder. No, wouldn't that be... Oh, he's invalidated as well. Sambo's invalidated out that.
Always struggle with that part of the track he's just gone through. It's a bit slidey,
I love that
especially when you like us boys.
I love the
It is
S's
medium
there.
tyres. It is purple sector 2, but I've known and learned to never trust this game.
Yeah, this game's
So
so well.
Swaffer is currently sat P10 on 44 points. We will go through the championship standings shortly. So 13 cut nicely,
That's a nice
14
line,
cut
yeah.
nicely. It is.
Really nice line.
It's always a good camera angle there.
Ooh, that's a
very,
great
very
lap
good
time.
time. A 1:10.2 on the medium tyre. So Carroll might be sweating a little bit.
I think I mean, if you look at sort of race pace, medium lap times, big wheels on it. If you look at qualifying pace, Swaffer is on the limit of I think what is possible on those tyres on a custom set. That's a great time. That's a really great time.
He has done a lap on these tyres already. He's
Fuck
coming
it.
in.
See, the problem with this track is it's very, very easy to get yourself caught on a cutting penalty. And if you're doing, if you're going for the soft tyre start, obviously you only have 3 steps for qualifying. For those of you that are new to the game, you can't just swap for a hard compound for the whole weekend and that give you a set of hard, medium, and 2 softs. No, it doesn't work like that anymore. It's 3 softs, 1 medium, no matter what compound you pick.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying. Oh, hello, Sambo.
Ooh, that was good time from TS Sambo. Sambo, I should call him now actually.
Swaffer's improved to a 1:09.9 on the mediums. So he's
problem with
definitely
this-
keeping with... He's been getting the toe the past few laps. I have noticed that.
The only problem with this
Jeez.
track is tyre wear. Like, it's a great track to drive, but you have to nurse your tyres, especially for... Whoa, howitzer. Whoa, howitzer. Oh, and he's out.
Whereabouts is that?
That is coming into the hairpin for the final straight.
Oh, well, right
Or
on
the back
board
straight.
with Madman, because he's coming through there now. Oh, that would be a red flag, I think, in real life.
I mean, I don't think he did it on purpose. I think he was aiming to get back to the pits a bit quicker. So on the first right-hander of those S's, he sort of cut it on the grass, which I think just made him just completely lose all of his grip and just pushed him off the track completely into
Work
the
from
wall.
the
and that was
McLaren's
good
there.
on.
Madman getting a toe off of Sambo down the main straight. So let's see what TES Madman can do. Currently sat 9th in the championship. Good line, clipping up a bit of dirt. Thinking he's code on the crit. Sorry.
Oh, what a lap
1:09.6.
time. That is
Now
my
toe could
Saturday
be
teammate.
everything round here. It is, but I won't jinx it.
Happy times. Good lap, great lap.
So the guy currently sat P9 in the championship on 50 points, has a couple of pole positions.
Risky Andy's pipped him for that one at this current point in this session though, with a 1:09.646. Only 8
Only
thousandths
just,
quicker.
and that's on the soft tyre.
That's ridiculously close.
So Joycey is on a lap, coming through sector 1. There's a lot of S sections here. The
Yes.
infamous corner where Hamilton claimed Vettel tried to kill him.
No, Hamilton just, you
Still
know.
not so well.
No.
Oh!
Vettel deserved the win. But
Joycey
we're not
lost
going
it. Yeah, let's not bring up flashbacks.
I'm not even a Vettel fan, but, like, I mean, where was he going to go? Come on. What
You're
did
on
they
the
think he was
grass. Kick about. He's done well to hold it on the grass. let
He's
alone
done well to
straighten
keep
it
all
back
4
up.
wheels, yeah. Because anybody else would have been in that wall.
Oh yeah, 100%. But we'll stay on board with Joycey for now, who did have a moment coming out of where Vettel lost it again in 2011. That was a great race, even if we did have a 4-hour break.
Yeah.
Where does Joycey put his AlphaTauri? It's P5, just ahead of his teammate, 109.9. So
Tell you what,
Swapper-
this Joycey is up there in the title. Is he still leading? I can't remember. It's been a while.
Joycey is not leading, so we will run through the Formula 2 standings. Risky Andy leads the championship for Renault on 132 points. TES Swayze is P2 on 96. Then 3 points behind in the AlphaTauri is TES Carroll. Beastie and UFC in P4 for Williams on 66 points. P5 is TES Big Will on 59.
Well, I'm
P6 is Joycey, 1993 for AlphaTauri on 57. As well as TES Sambo in P7 on 57 for McLaren. P8 is TES Roland on 51, P9 is TES Madman on 50, Swaffer 1 for Racing Point, P10 on 44, and P11 unfortunately was had to retire due to personal reasons, was the ex-Alfa Romeo driver of TES Rosberg on 39. So it's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean,
the field.
it's always a shame to lose a driver, but when you have to go for personal reasons, obviously everybody understands. We just hope to see him back soon. Great driver as well. Like I'm surprised he's not up there, you know. But even though he's not managed to make all the races, I think he's only managed to make a couple. He's still like a really fast, competitive driver. So hopefully he'll come back soon, and we'll see him back in league racing again soon. But like when you look, like you say, when you look at the title, when you look at the drivers in this league, you've got. I mean, everybody that you look at on the list is capable of scoring points, and it is just that close. I mean, you've got some drivers that are, I mean, I'm surprised are in this league rather than the F1 league.
Very close to the wall there. Sorry to cut in there, but Roland's coming across the line. He likes this track and puts his Renault P3 with a 109.7, only just ahead of Sambo.
I feel like we should do a bit
Jump
of
on
a
board
track
with.
talk.
No, we won't.
I think like okay, so turn 1 and 2, you have a nice, well, the centre enters. If you go into turn 1, you just clip just on the inside of the rumble strip on turn 1, third gear corner. Get good drive coming into turn 2. Keep it on the white line. Get a nice early exit speed. Straight down that little straight. Go and cut. It's difficult on the next set of Estes to not get a corner cutting penalty, but if you hit it just right with just enough cut, you can carry a lot of corner speed through to hit a camber onto the second part of the chicane. Full power all the way around, and then it's the same again. You've got to try. With this track, you have to take as much of the curb as you dare in order to get the lap time you require. Every set of S's requires you to just take as much curb as you dare. And the best way to obviously try that is on your out laps. So the second set of chicanes, you want to get just onto the inside of the rumble so that then you can cut right, put the power down, get a nice sort of drive onto that second DRS straight. When you go under the bridge, you want to get a nice late brake. Again, just cut it a tiny bit so you can go on over
I love
the
it.
rumble on the
I
left.
jumped on board with Will when we were coming under the bridge. Perfect.
When you come into the chicane, get a wider entry like that. Yeah, that's pretty much perfect. Hit the late apex, get the power on early, short shift up to third, then power through to fourth, straight down straight. You hit your DRS, and obviously it's quite a long straight this one, so you'll make it all the way to eighth, go full throttle. Again, late braking, and you have to cut as much of the first part of this corner as possible. If you don't cut it very well, you'll either get a corner cutting on the exit or you'll hit the world champions. And it's just carrying it down the straight then to try and maximise that lap time.
So I'm just looking at the track map now, and the first part of turn 2 is called Virage, and the second part is called Senna.
Yeah, I've always heard
So
of
Virage and Senna. Yeah. Which is odd. When you think of Senna S's, you automatically think of Interlagos in Brazil.
Yes,
of course.
you do, yeah.
But don't think of Canadia.
I'm sure it's turn 8 that's called Casino.
Turn 8.
Sure, it's turn 8. Something, some French casino at the end of the casino.
Yeah. I mean, it is on its own island, so...
Yes.
And it is technically, it's a part street track, this place, guys, so it can be slippery. Will powering down towards 13 and 14, aka the Wall of Champions. Ooh, he's just kept it out of the wall there. Maybe a kick of oversteer. Where can he put his Red Bull? Up to P5, it's 109.8 for TES Big Will. And we'll go on board with TES Carroll now, just coming under the bridge. Very quick section. Down towards turn number 12.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, we'll say
Yeah,
12.
it is 12. Yeah. I was looking at the map.
Because they count that little left kink.
That is
No,
a turn.
all this right kink as a turn, don't they?
Yeah, that is the
So,
turn. That little kink
I've
on the
always
straight.
found that ridiculous.
It's like Russia, isn't it? Obviously, this weekend, Russia turn 1 is actually the little kink for the pit lane exit.
TES Carroll 109.5.
Great
Of
lap
course,
from the
to be
AlphaTauri
reckoned
driver.
with The AlphaTauri driver. Who
Sister
are we
team.
looking at next?
Sister team
Yes,
now
sister
of
team.
the Red Bull, no longer the child team to the parent team of Red Bull.
It's grown up a little bit.
It has, yes. It's now the sister
I mean,
team.
they have a race win. They have the same amount of race wins as Red Bull this season. So
They actually have the same amount of race wins as Red Bull had when Vettel joined AlphaTauri, Toro Rosso.
So
Yeah,
whatever,
same
Minardi.
team,
We'll
it's the
call it
same team.
Minardi.
Yeah, this is the first time that just imagine 2 different drivers, the same team with a different name, winning a race or their first race win in Monza for that team. I mean, that's just crazy.
So Droid du Casino is the massive straight.
There you go.
It's the massive straight. So we
And
are
you
on
took
board
the,
with Risky Andy.
when you said about Monaco, I was like, no, I'm sure I'm not wrong. And then I was in my head, I was like, am I wrong? Shit, am I wrong?
The only reason I said about Monaco is because you said Casino Square, and I was like, no, that's definitely Monaco.
Oh, that is definitely. You
So
know
we are
the
on board
actual.
now.
I know that the actual name of the Wall of Champions is actually Bienvenue to Quebec, I think, which is Welcome to Quebec in French.
Oh, okay.
So every champion that is smashing
how
into that
Canada
wall,
welcome you at their street track is by crashing you into the wall.
Yeah. So
And we thought the
Schumacher,
Canadians were
welcome to
nice.
Yeah.
Of course, a circuit named after Gilles Villeneuve after his passing. So again, a fantastic driver for Ferrari.
they say one of the
Oh
greats.
no, Randy has just invalidated at the final corner. And that's what you said. It's
It's ballsy.
millimetres, that place.
Yeah, you have to take as much as you dare. If you've not quite got the, I'd like to say courage. It's not courage, but I think you understand. Like you have to maximise every millimetre of this track in order to take that lap time. And so far, the driver that has maximised this lap is not TES Carroll. It is definitely TES Madman on the medium compound tyre.
Yeah, 109.654, but Swaffer on the soft tyres puts it provisional pole by 4/100ths of a second.
These lap times are insanely close. No offence
Now,
to the
there
guys
was
on the
one
soft
guy-
tyres in the front, by the way, with my Madman comment.
No, of course not. We are completely unbiased here, and we try to do our best to put on a good commentary performance for you guys out there.
Well, Jamie does. I
these-
you know, I don't.
Oh yeah, these
I just have a laugh.
these races are now being uploaded to YouTube, so
We're famous.
we can get some views. Woo! I'm on YouTube. Right, TES Carroll, the only driver we're waiting for, and he's just about to start a lap.
I do actually really like that new addition to, if you come out a bit late, you know, you can still cross the line even after the checker flag's going to have to complete your lap. Obviously not realistic to real F1, but I do like the addition to that on the game. It gives you that little bit of extra grip. Maybe if you can avoid any slower drivers who are AI, then it can give you a really good opportunity for a really fast lap time.
Yeah, absolutely.
He does an
It is a
excellent job there of avoiding that car. It's not realistic,
questionable on the
you know.
game's
But-
part there.
It's not realistic, but like I say, it just gives you an opportunity to really see the maximum grip levels of every track by that last driver who gets out just in time.
Power
I'm gonna-
Casino. We can say that now. We know where it is. It does look like he's going to improve on his time as well. That's very close to the wall of champions.
That was close.
Extracting everything out of the
What
car.
a lap.
And there you go. TS Carroll completely ballsy on the final lap then. 109.403. He is a 10th clear of his closest competitor on the tyre. But watch out for TS Madman on the medium tyres. The only one that has to be said on the medium tyres.
I will say,
This is what I love about Canada.
Oh yeah, if you ask me for my predictions for the race, you know, everything's staying clear. You know, making friends with the wall would be a bad idea. But for me, TS Madman, with that lap time on those tyres in that position, is in for an amazing chance at his victory tonight.
Yeah, definitely. So, let's go through your grid for this Canadian Grand Prix. TS Carroll for AlphaTauri lines up on pole position, with Swaffer a 10th behind for Racing Point. P3 is Risky Andy, 666 for Renault. P4, TS Madman on the medium tyres. AlphaTauri in P5 with Joyce in 1993. P6 is TES Roland for Renault. And then comes the second McLaren of TES Sambo. TES Big Will, P8 for Red Bull. P9 is Beastie NUFC. And Water Zero for Mercedes AMG Petronas rounds out the top 10. Of course, everyone outside the top 10 can start on their own choice of tyre. So it'll be interesting to see. Let's just carry on going through the grid. P11 is TES Dom, just missing out on the top 10 for Red Bull. Then come the two Ferraris of Mello 888 and Howitzer 44. And P14, who retired early on in the session. Oh, Will's left, that's not good.
I'm assuming...
Maybe he had a quali ban.
I was going to say, I'm assuming he had a quali ban, maybe, because Swayze's got really good pace around this track. I've seen him race here at several occasions, so, I mean, it's surprising to me that he's retired so early. I didn't see it do a complete lap. I think I saw him come out of the pits to lock in his setup, but, yeah.
Yeah, so it must be a quali ban, but he's starting P14, the guy that is P2 in the championship. And the constructors... Renault lead the way. This is joint, so this is F1 and F2. Renault lead the way on 340 points after 8 rounds. Then Red Bull on 210, followed by McLaren on 200. AlphaTauri in P4 with 197. Ferrari P5 with 157. Racing Point are on 151 in 6th. 7th place are Williams on 118. Then come the reserve team in P8. Haas on 110. Mercedes on 78 and Alfa Romeo on 62. Aha! I have the F2 constructors. Renault did that one as well.
Eureka!
So, a very interesting race bound to come up. It's 35 laps here, I think.
I think so. You know what? I haven't actually raced on this track for a 50% on this game yet, so...
I have. I've done it on my career mode, but I can't remember.
I have bad experience with this
but
from
whilst-
our other leagues.
Whilst we wait for our drivers to get ready, it's time for the Canadian National Anthem. Canadian Air Force fly over there. You'll have to deal with that, unfortunately. But yeah, we have a very interesting Grand Prix coming up.
Some other names of notoriety in which I think I need to bring up now that I've remembered that I know of have been claimed at the Wall of Champions while we are waiting for the drivers to enjoy their weight loss regime before the race. Ricardo Zonta, who is the French GT champion, and also Jenson Button and Sebastian Vettel have also been claimed by the Wall of Champions, both of whom are champion drivers. Say again?
How did we forget about them?
I know. I completely forgot that Vettel was claimed by the Wall of Champions, and I didn't even realise that Button
was claimed by it, and he's not even a champion. Was Kevin Magnussen?
He was I think the last driver was K-Mag, or was it Grosjean? Was the last driver?
It was K-Mag in qualifying last year.
It was, yeah. But Sebastian Vettel was the last champion. He was the last world champion to be claimed by the infamous Wall of Champions. Some other interesting facts about the track is there's only obviously one corner on this track in which you require your full 180-degree turning circle, and that is a hairpin before the Casino Straight, which is Ile de Notre Dame, is what it's called. That corner. And
so we are just waiting for Water Zero.
It's actually, I think, it's for us English plebs, it is the hairpin curve.
Yes. So, formation lap. There is 35 laps, I was right, woohoo.
Hey, look at that, you got
Carroll
right.
gets us underway for the formation lap.
I'm a big fan of it. Myself, I personally wasn't, when I did my last race here, I wasn't contented with finishing second place in the race to the guy that was going to win the championship in first place, so I crashed out trying to take him. In the infamous Wall of Champions, I've seen
So it was a championship drive that season.
I've seen overtakes here plenty. I've seen some truly amazing strategy calls, as I predicted. Stoppers just appeared on the screen.
I haven't got it yet. What is this?
I've had it already. Look at that. It's the only strategy that they want to showcase as the best is the soft, medium, hard. But the soft, medium, soft for me would definitely be the quickest. Where the soft, medium, hard would probably be the most reliable.
For me, between lap 8 and 12 for mediums, and then 19 and 21 for another set of mediums.
Yes. But that's on the tyre wear management that you can manage on the wheel. If you're a pad player, then it might well be a soft medium or a soft hard second strategy maybe, and then onto the softs at the end.
Yeah, I am on board with Madman because it should pop up with his one as well because he's on the mediums. So
you watch it, give it to us just when the lights are about to go out.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if you want to try and get TS Big Will back in the lobby.
I've invited him. I will invite him again. I will invite him again. I will continuously invite him for the next sort of 5 minutes to see if I can get him in. But I will not miss this start.
As we wait for Swayze to line up in his grid slot.
3-stop strategy.
Green flag waving. 5 red lights are out, and we are underway for XFR Formula
What
2.
A start from TS Carroll.
And Carroll already had a very, very good start. And, oh, here we go. Blue flags are waving. It's lap 2, apparently. It is lap 1, guys.
Here comes the Cody's issues with this game.
It is Carroll, followed by Swaffer, followed by Madman up in P3. So a very good start from the McLaren driver there. On the medium tyres, getting past Risky Andy straight away. Roland is up in P5, so it's Renault 4-5 at the moment. And Madman is all over the back of Swaffer already. And
this is doing
down towards the hairpin. 3-second time penalty from Warder already. And the Madman is up into P2.
That's an incredible start on the medium tyres, but I can't take anything away from the 1.5 second lead for TS Carroll on 1 lap. What a start the young Irishman has had.
runner on the medium tyres.
Swaffer was so close to the wall there.
And he's got Andy going down the inside, and Virage is turn 1, Senna is turn 2, Roland coming up the inside of Andy. He's got the run down towards turn 3 and 4, and Roland is up into P4 now.
Joyce is just there, ready. Joyce is there, ready to snap up anything that comes his way from these guys fighting so fiercely. Interesting move from Roland on his teammate.
It is, so I take it Will is back in. He's on the hard tyres already.
I think there was an incident at the start involving TS Sambo and another driver, or a wall, as he has also boxed and given himself a 5-second penalty in the process.
Howitzer's retired, where is that? That's coming out of turn 9.
Ooh, that could be a... Yeah, there it is, virtual safety car.
So, I don't think Sambo will get there in time to see Howitzer's car.
I think it looks like what we saw with Howitzer during the qualifying session, based on the position there. I think yes, it is very, very
Oh
close.
my god, that should be a safety car. That has to be a safety car. Look where that Ferrari is.
I think if we had 20 cars on the grid, it would be. And if that happens later on in the race, when the cars are a bit more stretched out across the track, it probably would be again.
Virtual safety car on lap 3. Not the full course, but it is a full course yellow, of course. Drivers have to slow down.
I think it will be coming to an end in any second.
So, a fantastic start. DRS has been enabled, and look how much Madman's closed in that virtual safety car period. Sorry, that will be DRS.
I was on board with TES Carroll when it happened. It looked like he'd just gone red on his Delta, so he put his brakes on, and as soon as it went green, his Delta went green, and then he put his foot down, and Madman just gained massively on him through that little error.
So through the hairpin of turn 10, and he's going to get the slipstream down Casino.
DRS
turn 11,
is
DRS
wide open. If it's not here, it will be in turns 1 and 2.
Very close to the back of that Alpha Tauri, and very close to the Wall of Champions.
The speed of this McLaren on these medium tyres is, as he goes for it.
It's done before turn 1.
He got the fastest lap of the race. Warder got the fastest lap of the race, while under a virtual safety car for half the lap.
So we will see that fastest lap improve, of course, and the gap is already going up, for Madman. Just over a second, but Carroll will have DRS because of the detection point.
But TS Madman, I mean, if TS Madman can manage these tyres and can manage that one-stop strategy tonight, then
I mean, Renault side by side. Sorry to cut you off there, Dano. Two Renault side by side into turns 7 and 8.
I think there could be a potential developing issue between the two Renaults here. I mean, they both seem to be on really equal pace.
They were at Baku last week as well. It has to be said.
I wouldn't want to take I wouldn't want to be the guy that takes his teammate out of a race. Hopefully they can just keep it clean and use each other to gain more positions. As Riskandy just dives into the pits.
1:12.3 for Maran. The gap is now 1.8 seconds.
That is a great lap time on medium tyres. Oh, Swaffin loses the back end a little bit, loses quite a chunk of time to TEF Roland there, coming around turn 1 and 2.
The gap between Roland and Swaffer is a second.
Roland's just had another start. It looks like these soft tyres are about ready to give up the ghost here.
Yeah, so clearly the medium tyres are the tyres to be on, and the predicted strategy, lap 8 to 12, is going well out the window here.
Roland is in DRS range at the minute though of Swaffer for 3rd place, but will one or both of them dive into the pits on this lap? As Warder receives another 3-second penalty.
Beastie and Warder all in this fight for P3 at the moment. But Warder has penalties to deal with. So.
I'll tell you what, like penalties or not, I mean, Warder's on the medium tyres and to be keeping up with these soft guys for this whole first stint is really good work from the Mercedes driver. I mean, the improvement levels that we've seen from race on race is massive from some of these
Roland
drivers.
had a moment and Joyce is through. Roland had a moment coming out of the Wall of Champions, and Joyce has managed to fight his way up to 4th place. So Roland P5, Beastie, pressurising the Dutchman now. I don't even know if that's a word, but we're going with it.
It'll do, just throw it in there, don't worry about it.
Yeah, Crofty's dictionary, as they say.
We need to get the bingo out soon, I think, though, for some of these things that we've been saying.
Yeah. I don't know what the T is bingo.
Yes.
TSF1 bingo.
Or some of the drivers that we know call it test bingo.
Yeah, we'll shoot that. Why not? Test bingo.
I'll just say type
3.6
bingo.
seconds. That is a massive gap to P1, and Madman is in, excuse the pun, pole position here.
I'm not going to say a word because I'm famous for my curses in this league.
I'm not going on board with him. I've just jumped off board with him. But Joycey all over the back of Swaffer now. Swaffer really struggling on these soft tyres.
But the gap
Racing Point.
No, it's the Pink Panther team, thank you very much. And remember, everybody must remember that this is the last game and the last season that we are going to see that Pink Racing Point.
Unless Aston Martin.
I doubt Aston Martin. If Aston Martin
It's not British Racing Green,
then it's just there's no point in going
a
Aston
Formula
Martin.
1 fan.
I mean, everybody was a big fan of the AlphaTauri colour this season, but if they do go British Racing Green next year with some really good sponsors, then it's going to be a car to beat on just sheer beauty.
Yeah, even if they go to the green they're using in the WEC, it's more like a high vis, but that's Aston Martin Racing.
Ooh,
Big lock up from Joycey.
We're in sync.
Oh, bit of a moment, and now Warder. Sector 1 yellow flag.
Oh, we have
That's
the yellow
a Red
flag,
Bull.
yeah. That's the two Red
Dom
Bulls.
and Will. Oh, careful, boys. Let's go on board with Warder, though, as he's not quite close enough. 3-second time penalty for Roland. Roland hit the Wall of Champions, and does he have damage to that Renault? He doesn't. No, he's got away with it.
Ooh.
Had a big moment.
He might have
Down a
some
bit.
light damage to that wing, but I mean he's looking at boxing soon anyway. So I mean we've got a lot of laps left. If there's a safety car out, it won't make any difference on his race, even if he does require a wing change. But he's a lucky man to escape the Wall of Champions without missing a wing at least.
Now,
But that just
Beastie
tells
is
you.
on
That just
net
tells
P2,
you.
and
That
Warden
tells you the
net
tyre
P3
wear.
at the moment.
That tells you the tyre wear of this track, though. I'd say net P2 anyway would be TS Carroll, as he has boxed onto the medium compound tyre, which tells me he's going for that two-stop strategy of a soft, medium, soft.
Quite possibly, but as we've seen, the tyre wear is quite high. Swayze is now in this battle for P3.
That's a great
so P3
drive.
all the way down
That is a great drive.
to P7. Of course, Swayze started on the medium tyres.
Oh, who's that in the box? That's Joycey.
Joycey's in, Roland's in.
I will stay on board to just check all the tyres. It looks like it's mediums for both
Swayze's
the
past
drivers.
Mello. Swayze has got past Mello and is up into P4. Beastie 11.8 seconds back to TES Madman, last week's race winner at Baku.
Wait, which one was the
And-
winner of Baku? I missed it.
Beastie,
Wow.
his first ever XFR win in 8 seasons.
Well, this is going to be very belated, but congratulations, Beastie NUFC, on your win in Baku in XFR.
If I
I've
can,
missed too
I just
much.
want to plug, you need to watch that back. Even if it's not all of it, even if it's the last 10 laps, that's where it all kicks off.
I will happily watch that back.
Exactly a second.
Do you know what? I'll happily watch that back because I've had my best finish, I think, in F1 XL there. I've had my first podium in SFR there, so I will happily watch that back.
Yeah, and we've commentated a very, very good Formula 2 race there.
We have, yeah, that was a great race. Yeah, we're not getting to Formula 2. There's just something about those cars that just makes you want to be there.
Yeah, and
I'll tell you what,
hoping
I know
people
it's
sign up for F2XL.
yeah, I know it's not permanent, and I know it's early on in the race. But if we have a safety car now and all the drivers decide to box for hard tyres, that would put Warder in net P3. Just bear that in mind.
This is before penalties, of course. 3 second
Of
time
course,
penalty
yeah.
for Will.
There's going to be a
And
lot of penalties
last
for the
week-
end of this race.
Yeah, last week, I didn't even look at the penalties. There was that much going on, and put it this way,
As
it was
BC
so
picks
fun
up
to
the 3
commentate on. It was so fun to commentate on, even on my own.
Oh, don't make me feel bad or
I
anything.
was solo last week. No, it's fine. It's not like you decided to say, yeah, I'll commentate with you, and then ended up going out.
No, I always tell you on the
Anyway,
on
on to this one.
I tell you what, these guys, some of these guys raised 6 different leagues in a week. And the commitment, Warder is all over the back of Beastie after that. And then he's going for the move into turn 1.
Move into Virage. Oh, it's a
And
very
he-
tight line. Oh!
Both of them
That's
spin
awful.
and Swayze's gone into second.
Warder, no, he made a mistake there.
I think that was a Beastie mistake. So what it looked like for me was Warder held the inside line, he went for the inside manoeuvre, he took the inside line going into the corner, but Beastie I don't think was expecting the move that late. Just turned onto his normal racing line and collided straight into the side of that Mercedes car, and unfortunately Beastie NUFC has taken a chunk of wing off in that incident, and he will most likely have to box, but I'm not going to get involved into the nitty-gritty of who was at fault there. That was just unfortunate from the 2 drivers.
From the camera angle we had on stream, it certainly looked as if the Mercedes... Obviously, he was on a very tight line.
Well, DRS, it looked like he
think
was
it's just
ahead going into the braking zone. That's the problem. So, like, if you were to look at it from, like, a race director, I mean, racing incident, maybe? I don't know.
Quite
As
possibly
Beastie
Carroll
carries
all
on
over
with
the
that wing damage.
3 second time penalty for Carroll, which could become crucial. And that gap between Madman and Swayze is getting bigger. No safety cars yet.
As Madman has already lapped TES Big Will. Is Big Will in or is he disconnected again?
He's just been lapped, so he'd be ghosted.
He's ghosted behind
There you go. He's
the McLaren.
locked now.
Ah,
Car.
oh yeah.
Yellow flag
Right.
in sector 2. That's Water 0. What's happened there? That's where Vettel lost it. And contact maybe?
I'm not sure. I was on board with TS Madman at the time. There's a heavy wing damage on the right side of his car. He needs to keep going though, because I mean, like I said to you already, if there is a safety car, which at this track is massively likely, he's still in for a shout at getting some points here for Mercedes.
He is, but that is big damage to his wing.
I
So how
boxed
to
now,
feel
hard
the
tyres.
overtime.
Last game, I think I boxed around
Beastie
lap
has
15
pitted.
for hard tyres, 20 laps in the hards, quite comfortable to the finish. I think the pit window did open on the start of lap 12.
Beastie's gone more mediums.
Ooh, interesting strategy from Beastie NUFC.
Softs at the end.
And just
Jump on
another
board with Warder.
Water goes soft.
Soft, medium, medium, soft, medium then? Or medium,
Yeah,
soft,
yeah,
soft?
definitely. No, definitely medium, soft,
Can't be
medium.
soft.
Medium, soft, medium. It's got to be because the softs won't do more than 10 laps. I mean, he'd be lucky to drag them further than that without causing himself more damage.
Oh, we've got a Verstappen Ocon moment. Big Will has just unlapped himself. That's all right though, because Madman is pitting. Hard tyres, I'd imagine.
Oh,
With
his
the
water's
McLaren
out.
driver. That's coming out of the
Corner
pit
is
lane.
turn 1. That's got to be a safety car.
If that's a safety car, that's mediums for Madman.
Now that's a surprising pit call.
Madman's come out in P1.
I'm gonna
But
invite.
Carroll's going to have to pit again, remember. It's
am gonna-
medium, soft, clearly, for the McLaren driver.
I am going to drop Water Zero and invite into the lobby just to get his views on what went wrong for him tonight and how he went in qualifying.
So Madman's come out with a 4.6 second gap. In P1, fresh mediums compared to Carroll's 6-lap old mediums. And you have to say, it's looking very good for the McLaren driver at this moment of the Grand Prix.
I'll tell you what, I mean, if he can just keep it clean for the whole race, he's set a purple sector 2 on his outlap, you know, I mean, there's no reason why he can't just remain
Oh, there's a new
relaxed.
feature. Gunhead, go on the race director. There's a new feature. Go on the race director. It tells you what the pit stop times they've done.
Oh, no, that's cool. As we are
So we can
joined-
hand out fastest pit stop awards.
Well, so far the fastest
Warder,
pit stop
welcome.
would be handed to Joycey.
Um,
Yes, welcome, Warder.
there's a yellow flag in
I'm
sector
gutted
3.
for you, mate. Gutted for you for that DNF. You had really good pace in qualifying. Can you talk us through what happened in the race today for you? Like what went wrong and obviously how you wound up DNFing?
The DNF was something I don't know. I don't know how
I was on
managed to
board with
mess
you,
up
but
that badly.
I looked away. I looked back and you were in the wall. I was like, hang on a minute, what's happening? You just come out the pits.
So yeah, what happened was, so qualifying my third run, I should say, was actually pretty good. But somewhere along the lines, I can't remember when I found it. I probably would have started on softs, which I kind of wanted to do, just ahead of Will. Which, I mean, it's only 3 places higher than I was, so not the end of the world. But I was quite happy with that. To start on the mediums, I suppose. In the race, it was all okay. Managed to get through some of the drama. Was up the inside of Beastie, and I thought I had the corner, but I didn't, clearly. So I knocked his front wing, and I spun him, I don't know, I think it's very much a racing incident, but with how the tickets went last week, for me, I've got to be super critical of myself, I think. So I waited for Beastie to get through, even if it wasn't my fault. I thought that's just the gentleman thing to do at that point.
Yeah.
Then fought with Carol. I did lose a little bit of it, but he then, going into, turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6. It's turn 6. The S is at 6. And I lost the back end a little bit, but enough to keep me on the racing line. Carol decided to then want the racing line. And unfortunately, pushed me into the wall. And clipped my front end, and then at that point I had no way I could stop in time for the wall, which is a shame. But with the way the tickets went last week, I'm really critical of this as well. If I put a ticket in for that, then I would probably get a penalty.
Well, I know that you're,
and then when
you're
I came-
obviously heavily involved in other leagues, so I think you know more of the tickets than most of the people watching. So you can be as critical as you want, my friend.
Yeah. And then ended up coming out of the pits and trying to get the best line possible. I went over left
You clipped
as
the
far
grass?
as possible. No, I clipped the wall.
Yeah, I know what you
The
mean.
wall, the
I
wall
know-
that sticks out
yeah.
of the pit lane. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
And
so
then that was it.
unfortunate.
So it's not, it is what it is. I'm pretty downhearted anyway from the tickets from last week. I know I keep mentioning it, but
I think you can.
What actually happened?
Well,
Did they
so-
penalise?
So
Andy?
I've got 2 reprimands and a warning, I think, for all of it. And then Risky Andy's was forgotten.
Okay.
Which and Beastie owned up to it, said it was his fault. So and that's fine, you know, I'll take that. But for him only to get a reprimand to spin me around in a street track like he did is beyond me, to be perfectly honest. And I haven't fully decided yet, but this could be my last race.
Well, I mean, I hope
Okay.
it's not, personally, because, I mean, obviously I saw you on your first race of the season to now, and I think you've bridged quite the gap in pace that you said you were lacking early on. Your qualifying time, as you said, was right up there. You were ahead of yourself by a chunk before you invalidated your lap time. Your racecraft is up there, I say, among the best. I think, obviously, I know what it's like to be disheartened by the DNFs, by the ticket decisions that go against you. But I think overall, I'd say you've improved massively over the course of this season. So hopefully you stick around. And it's just a shame that you lost out, because, as I was saying to T.S. Leclerc, you were in for a shout today if a safety car came out of getting some good points. So it's just a shame that you obviously had that unfortunate Lando Norris-esque stop at Canada.
So Roland up into turn 1, has got past Swaffer, sorry to cut in there guys, but Roland is now into P3. We are now well past the halfway point of this race order. I just want to throw it out there, well, from our point of view, it's Madman to throw away. Who's winning this Grand Prix?
Oh, Madman, definitely. How he's not in F1 in this league is beyond me as well. The guy's insanely quick, and all day long he's gonna. Yeah, if he keeps it. Last week he probably should have won at Baku as well, and it was only for an instant that he didn't. As long as he keeps it clean and what have you, he's going to win the title and this race. Sorry, I know you asked for the race.
No, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, across all of his leagues so far this season, I've seen him improve in like massive leaps and bounds upon the pace that he started with. He's just gone from strength to strength. Like every race he's done, he seems to be getting faster and faster. I raced with him in two leagues, and the pace from the start of both to now is just phenomenally improved. So I agree, like if he doesn't get moved into the F1 league in XFR, then he'll be a shoo-in for this win, for this league.
So the gap out front is 12.6 seconds. Madman leads Carroll. McLaren versus AlphaTauri. And
I will just cut in, Jamie. If you do want to stick around, Warder, please feel free to stick around for the rest of the race, mate. Don't
you
just...
can be our Karun Chandok if you
yes.
Warder Chandok.
You've got a lot of experience as a commentary man, so I'm happy to keep you in the team because me and Jamie get chatting.
Yeah, well, I know it's not XFR, but SFR, we've got a new nickname for Lightshock, who is our lead commentator, of course. I kind of gave him the nickname of Karun Chandok. So using Dom's retired! Like oh, it's in the pit. No, it's not in the pit lane.
No.
He lost it where I lost it.
Yes, he did, yeah.
Safety car! That's a big crash
that is
for Dom.
Big safety car as well. That's going to change the whole... I mean... does Madman have any medium tyres left?
He started on mediums. He has to go to a different compound.
He has
That's
to go to hard
big
tyres.
damage to that Red Bull. Big damage to the Red Bull. It will have to be hards.
Of all the drivers to DNF, I wouldn't have called TES Dom.
No, definitely not.
Probably the most consistent driver I have seen in any league.
Here we go. Beastie has pitted for soft tyres, mellow mediums, Joyce
Brave.
mediums
I can
as well.
definitely see people doing two stops on softs. So, you know, 2 stints. That's what I wanted to
Madman's
say.
going soft.
Stints.
Do you think 2 final stints for soft tyres, soft from
Yeah.
now? What would you
'Cause-
say is
'cause
like
the
the
pace
absolute
is better.
limit for softs? Like on laps? I mean, you've got some experience.
They will be brand new softs.
7,
as
8?
well.
Yeah, but the next set's not going to be brand new. It's going to be, well, it will be for Madman.
But the most
but-
is 9 laps.
I mean,
And that
it's
is
Mediums
uttermost.
for Carroll.
I don't know. I honestly, I mean, so if Madman does a 2-stop with these softs, fresh softs, I don't know how much tyre wear he'll take out on the safety car itself.
He'll want to limit his tyre wear under
Yeah.
safety car, but then he's got to compromise and keep them softs in the optimum temperature.
He's basically going to have to do the entire Sector 3 on the restart as slow as possible to maintain tyre.
Yeah,
Like, he's
this
going to,
is-
basically, he'll have to boot it on the exit of the Wall of Champions, basically, yeah, in order to maintain as much rubber as he can maintain.
Well, he is leaving a big gap to the safety car, so I must admit the McLaren does look better now they've actually updated the.
Just
livery.
if Carroll doesn't stop, he's got a 3-second time penalty. That's the only thing that will go against him here.
Carroll has gone on to new mediums.
Yeah, but he
I
won't
think they're
stop
letting Big
now.
Will through.
Well, he didn't do the.
They fixed it.
Oh no, he got a 5-second
Ignoring
penalty
yellow
for
flag.
ignoring yellow. Oh, I don't think that's fair.
Oh, this guy and
Oh,
disqualified.
That's not fair.
No,
He wouldn't have overtaken unless
this.
he was allowed to
told us.
overtake. Yeah.
So
I mean,
Cody's at it again.
yeah. Cody strikes again.
Will, if you're watching, sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Hang around because we've got Among Us after this.
I am
it's
just
more
going to
than,
jump back into the party with those guys because we are on the party with you. So thank you very much for doing the comments.
Okay.
guys.
Right,
Really
mate.
appreciate
Right,
it.
well,
And
I hope you stick
no
around
worries.
for. I hope you stick around in XFR for more races because, as I say, I think your pace is getting a lot better out there, Warder. So, and I'll speak to you. Hopefully, I'll speak to you on Sunday.
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Take care, buddies.
Right, see you in a bit, mate. Cheers for coming in.
So that was live reaction of what happened to Order Zero, and we're appreciative of him joining.
Hopefully, he comes
After
back. I
his-
mean, like, I wholeheartedly believe. I mean, I've been there. I think you've been there, and 90% of the drivers in every league will have been there. As the safety car is coming in this lap, we know what it's like when we have a
Look how
bad season.
slowly Madman's going.
Oh, I can't blame him for that. Can you?
No, definitely not.
I
Definitely
would go
not.
as
and that's perfect
slow
timing
as
'cause I've just
possible.
done my insulin as well.
100%. Do an Italy, mate. Do a Bottas. Hold everybody up until the fucking start line if you want to.
No one can
Maintain those
overtake
tyres.
until the start line.
Maintain
But
those tyres.
watch out for a Magello start here, so
He's
keep
gone.
an eye on
He's gone.
the back, please. That's a very good start. Swayze
That was
wasn't
a-
expecting that and is under pressure from Carroll. Coming across the line. Carroll is going to get into P2 here, is he? No.
Swayze made a
Very,
mistake. He
very
could get the
deep.
switch. Ooh. No. I
Roland's
don't
up
know.
into P4. He's got past
Carroll's
Stopper.
going for it. Carroll's going for it. It's turn 3 for P2 and he makes the
He's got it.
move.
Yes, he does.
Oh.
Roland, and he's got past Swayze to Swapper, and so has Sambo. What a start we've had to this.
Oh,
after
that
the safety
was-
car restart, and Beastie's lost it. Oh, Beastie got a tank slapper on and has lost it. Fighting other cars, but Madman out 2.5 seconds. To TES Carroll and lap 24 of 35.
Watch that gap, people. Watch that gap. If he gets it big enough and he decides to box for a second set of fresh softs, we could have a
So you
race
need
on
about
here. It'll be a race to
22
the line.
seconds here. For
Yes, but well, no, he only needs to get 15 seconds before he boxes for a second set of softs if he decides to box again. Because I think that it works out at about 2 seconds a lap quicker on race pace. Well, Madman is 2 seconds a lap quicker on race pace on the softs than anybody on the mediums.
And Swayze coming under pressure now from the Roland.
From the Roland. That's it. TS
From the
Roland
Renault
now.
of TS that's what I was meant to say.
Roland now fighting for that podium spot. I mean, TS Swayze though, I mean, if you were thinking of driver of the day, he's come from last place, P14, now in 3rd place on the grid. As Risky Andy picks up a 3-second time penalty in 5th. Right on the back of his teammate, as Roland goes a bit defensive. Take it easy, boys.
Oh, Sambo
You could
is
both
in
get-
this fight as well.
Swaffer not far off the back, regaining his time that he lost. I think if
Here
they
comes Roland.
fight,
Past Swayze
Roland gone.
into turn 13. DRS has
What a
been
great
enabled, and
move.
that's Roland done. And Andy all over the back of Swayze now as well. And Swayze's lost 2 positions in a corner.
oh no, he's fighting back. He's going for it. He's going for it to turn 2 on centre corner. Ooh, that was
Very
close.
close, and Sambo right behind now as well. 3-second time penalty for Sambo and Roland there.
Oh, this
So
you know
penalties
what? I'm not going
definitely
to look at the. I'm not looking at the penalty situation because I don't want to call this race.
Look, there's 10 laps to go. Beastie's in the pits again.
I think Madman
Beastie's
needs
soft
to.
tyres.
Madman needs to go on lean for the rest of the race. If he wants to keep those soft tyres in it. He's got 9 laps, well, 8 laps realistically now.
Look, Swayze might have to pit again. Swayze started on mediums, yeah?
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
Swayze will have to pit
Didn't he
again.
box for softs
Here
in the
comes
middle?
Sambo.
Swayze is on 12 lap old. It's no wonder
Swayze's in.
It's no wonder he was getting mullered there. Swayze is now boxing for the end now. He's going to go into a soft set.
Definitely soft tyres.
He's got a fresh
He does
set,
have the
brand new
gap.
softs.
Definitely
He's got a
has
big
the
gap, yeah.
Joyce is in as well. Soft tyres for Joyce and a wing change.
Oh, I'll be back in 30 seconds. You man the fort.
Sure. So on board with the 2 Renaults once again for probably the 4th consecutive week running Linus Stern in P3 and P4. Of course, we don't know the penalty situation. We're not looking at the penalty situation because it just ruins the race. We're not having a Canada 2019, but Andy is looking a lot happier, sat behind his teammates at the moment. TES Madman 7.2 seconds out in front to TES Carroll, the AlphaTauri, and Andy has got past Roland already. Now, if I were these two, this would just be I would be DRSing each other, you could say. Not losing time, just helping each other along. But it is now 9/10 of a second between Andy and Roland. And I'd love to know what them soft tyres on the McLaren are saying.
They're saying,
on
fuck
board.
me, I'm
They look
dead.
they look fairly okay. Just from the onboard footage. He is definitely, though, being making minimal moves on his steering wheel.
I think the idea
Braking in a straight
now-
line as well.
The idea now from Sambo would be avoid any more penalties. Hope that, I don't know the situation, but hope that the guys in front have more and just maintain a good pace to stay within a reasonable distance. Because if he does, if Risky Andy and TES Roland have more penalties than him, then he's in for a shout at that P3 still.
Even P2, because remember, Carroll could have
I know he
penalties
has-
as well. We know he definitely has one.
Yeah, I know he has one. and I know that Sambo has won, and he would have served his 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane under that safety car.
I think everyone down to from Carroll down to P6 has at least one penalty. We're not looking though.
No, we're not looking. It's an assumption. Like, I've seen names pop up, and there's only a couple that I know have. And I know for a fact that Sambo has served his 5 seconds under the safety car. So he is closing though on road. He is within DRS range.
It is the closest battle on track as well. So we'll ride on board with the Renault X McLaren battle.
Tell you what, Roland's made a couple of little mistakes on this lap. So neither of them are particularly far. Like, all of them are on for second place at the minute. You could call this a battle for second if Roland could just pick up the pace again, get back onto the back of his teammate.
Oh, I've just seen my chat on the stream. F1XL in the chat. Oh, I'm not saying it. I'm not doing it.
Oh no, what'd you say? Come on, what'd you say?
No. You know why? I'll send you a picture of why. Because this will throw the race result completely. You said, oh, I don't know what's happened.
Sambo had a slight touch on the back of Roland coming into turn 1 and had to back off more than he wanted to for turn 2. Lost a lot of time.
That's why, though. But we are still on board with Roland and Sambo. But we're going to go on board with Andy because he's right behind TES Carroll.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no comment. And I know who posted that.
Yeah. F1XL with
and
the
I
inside
thank you very much
information.
for the inside line, yeah.
We have a mole in the lobby. Here comes Risky Andy on Carroll, and this looks like P2 done and dusted before turn 13, and it is.
And Sambo's looking like he's going to line up and move to turn 1. He got an excellent exit out of the Wall of Champions out of the final corner, and he's going to go for the inside line going into turn 1.
Roland clipped the grass. Oh, there's contact.
A little bit of contact, side by side
oh,
still.
A bit more contact, bit more contact. This is Formula 1, guys. This is not stock car racing.
Oh, well held. I mean, well done, Roland. Well held. Great driving from the Renault and the McLaren. That was amazing driving. Really good skill.
Now, we're on board with the other McLaren of Madman. It is 9.9 seconds on lap 31.
Did he make a mistake not going on the hard tyres? That's the question. Like, what's the percent at on these softs right now?
Oh, if only we had information like the game actually has for tyre wear.
He's getting a bit slidey on those softs. If he's gone on to lean fuel, I mean, he's used all of his ERS, so I don't think he's been holding back.
He doesn't need to push though, that's the thing. He is short shifting as well, so...
I mean, if I was the race leader now, I'd be just pure tyre management, make the last 4 laps now and just try my hardest to avoid the curb and avoid a puncture.
Sorry for everyone watching again, but we're going back on board with Roland and Sambo because this battle is extremely close. And it's going to go down to the end of this Grand Prix, I can assure you of that. Sambo did just have a really big moment though. 3-second time penalty for Risky Andy. So he's definitely pushing to try and close that gap. Here is Madman. Madman is coming up to turn 13 and 14 now. So he's about to start lap 33. Everyone's going to score points. Been a very, very interesting race so far. And
it's been a great race to watch.
Here comes Sambo. Is he going to go for the move? No, he's not. He thinks better of it.
Oh, Roland's had a really poor
he's had
exit.
another. another great exit for TES Sambo. Down the inside to turn
Covering
1.
off the inside
And
line.
he's got it done. Has he? He's gone wide onto the marbles. Roland. Oh, where are they?
Oh, Roland's
He's
maintained it again.
Oh, no, he hasn't, though. Here comes Sambo again. Round the outside. Looks to outbreak the Renault. Oh,
Get the switch back. Get the
fantastic
switch back.
racing.
Get the switch back. Who's got
What's
the? Oh,
going on?
he's got the DRS.
Sambo's got the DRS. And he's finally got it done, has he? No, he hasn't. Here comes Roland again. And look at Swaffer watching this battle. He has the best seat in the house, apart from us, of course. But, oh, what a fantastic
Roland's got
first two
DRS
sectors
now.
from these two
Roland's
guys.
got DRS coming onto this back straight.
And
Is he
none
gonna
of
make
them
the
have
move
any
back?
ERS.
Sorry.
The DRS gives you an extra 15 kilometres an hour. He thinks better of it. Touch Sambo going into the final corner.
He's got good
Here we go
drive.
again. He does. Down the inside into turn 1. And
Side by
Roland.
side.
Oh,
Oh, well held.
what's going on? What a fantastic race so far. But look how much time Sambo and Roland have lost to Carroll behind. Oh my God.
Swaffer.
I need a drink
Swaffer
and I
back.
haven't got one. Oh.
That's all right. I got
Lap
my beer.
34 of 35. And what a fantastic racing from TES Roland and TES
Incredible.
Sambo.
I mean, the respect they've
Oh
shown
my
each other
God.
in the corners is incredible. The moves they've made have been respectful and I mean, it's just great. What a race to come
I'm
back
going
on.
to go back and clip that because that was fantastic. For pretty much the whole lap, they were side by side. Fantastic. Beastie in the pits again.
Now, Risky Andy has pulled some time back on TES Madman, but Madman seems to still be happy on these tyres. He's only got the final lap. He can avoid the curbs, avoid the puncture. Take it
Gotta go
easy.
back on board with Sambo and Roland again though, because it's less than 0.3 of a second. Matt 45 and Right Shock at the track. Welcome to the stream. Boy, have you missed a fantastic race. Hopefully your race went well as well, of course. But Sambo and Roland, definitely the battle of the, what do I say, season so far.
Toe to toe.
We're only on round
I mean,
9.
really, they've been like equal pace for the whole race. You know, it's been a battle of wills between the two drivers. I'm just going to
I've
put
got
out
to
for
go
the
on
new.
board
For
with Madman though.
yes, I'm just going to put it out there while you go on board for the guys that have just joined. We don't know entirely the penalty situation.
But Madman rounds the final corner, past them all the champions, and Madman is going to take his first victory in XFR and Formula 1 2020 this season. Fantastic race for Madman. Andy crosses the line P2. Carroll jumps him for P2. Andy P3 at the moment. Here comes Sambo. Sambo's on the
Sambo,
podium.
Pete.
No, he's not.
Swaffer.
Swaffer's on the podium.
Oh.
What's going on here then? Oh my God. And Swayze crosses the line, jumps Andy. Andy had a lot of penalties, my word.
He had a lot of penalties.
So Swaffer onto the podium for Racing Point. Swayze from P14 on the grid. Finishes P6 and definitely my driver of the day. Madman
Yeah.
definitely up there.
Well, I'd actually give my driver of the day just for their racecraft to Sambo. I mean, we didn't see much of Swayze this race because obviously we were focused quite fixedly on the battle for what was third place. But I mean, Swaffer is counting his lucky stars for that podium tonight, based on the
Here
battle.
comes
between
Beastie. Can he get the
TS and
fastest lap?
Roland.
I don't know.
No, I have no idea.
But
But TS
Beastie,
Man.
P10.
TS Man with a masterclass tonight. Not a single mistake made. He put no foot wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, what
focus
can you say? I
points.
mean, it was a flawless performance. He started in fourth on the medium tyres, or was it fifth? And just was it lap 3 or 4, just gone in the lead, and that was that. That was the race over for the win. Fantastic drive from TES Madman.
Fantastic drive from the McLaren team in general.
I think fantastic drive
TES
from
Madman.
all of our finishers tonight.
Yeah, TES Madman, your race winner for the first time this season, and he's been in the position to do so, but finally at the Canadian Grand Prix it has come through, and we will run through your grid, your final finishing order. Madman did have a penalty.
I think I call it TES
So it
Finale, but yeah.
It is TES Madman for McLaren taking the race victory here at Canada, followed by TES Carroll for AlphaTauri. P3 is Swaffle1 for BWT Racing Point Formula 1 team. And P4, fantastic points for McLaren, is TES Sambo. P5 is TES Roland. P6 from back of the grid is TES Swayze, the only one without a penalty. P7 is Risky Andy 666 for Renault. P8 is Joycey 1993. P9 is Mello 888 for Ferrari, and rounding out our finishers and the points finishers is BCN UFC for Williams, after making a 5-strop strategy work. But it's time, I think, for the British national anthem once again for the second time in a week. So there we have it, the British national anthem for our race winner and race winning constructor of McLaren Formula 1 team. And Madman finally has his first race victory. Welcome to the top step of the podium. Talk us through that one then.
Well, that was it was something. I can't put it into words. It was it was amazing because I finally fucking won. But honestly, that last stint was awful, absolutely awful.
I bet it was. On those massively worn out soft tyres.
I think they were on like 72% by the time I crossed the line. I just wasn't pushing for like lap 33 onwards. I just thought, no, I need to get this car to the end.
That's a good call. You made the right decision.
Yeah, it just wasn't. The thing is, when the safety car came out on lap 22, I was, halfway into my medium stint, and I thought, the only thing I can do is pit for softs and see if I can get a gap and then pit again. Because I needed to maintain track position. If I carried on my stint, I would have come out behind everyone and then would have had to overtake, and it would have been a bit difficult. But maintaining track position, it was in my hands then. And
well, I mean, I think if you look at the overall race, I mean, we said it before already. Masterclass. you started on your medium. You qualified incredibly well on your medium tyres. You started on the mediums. You got into first position within the first 5 laps, and you led from the rest of the race. 30 laps in the lead, quite comfortable. You made a massive gap from the start. You had a great start off the line. Got into the podium position straight away. I mean, what more can be said? That was just the ultimate race.
I think I say this every couple of the weeks, but I think that is probably the best drive I've done.
Yeah, I think I've heard you every other race. So.
Well, it's usually crash or podium, so we're getting there.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
huge congratulations on the win tonight, mate. I mean, fastest. I think fastest lap. I don't know if it was taken off you.
I don't know actually. I don't know if I still had it, but I didn't see it change, so I might. I don't know.
We'll have to have a
Um,
check back on the stream. I know that Beastie NUFC did go to another set of soft tyres towards the end there, so we'll have to double check. But I think you got the race win and the fastest lap. We'll confirm later. But no, just an incredible job, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
First victory.
Yeah, it's not sunk in yet. Honestly, it's not sunk in yet.
I know that some of the other drivers that you raced with will be still calling you Spinella, but no, that was a great job, start to finish.
Yeah, one of as easy as Canada is, it's not. It just isn't. And the fact that I only got one penalty out of it as well is.
It's on par with Russia, I think, for penalty possibility.
Yeah.
It is extremely strict.
It
I'll
is,
give you that one.
yeah.
But yeah, once again, massive congratulations on your first victory in XFR, and I think in your league racing career.
Yeah.
So may many more come. And just got news that F1 got cancelled. So very, very good points for McLaren. A 1-4 here in F2. So very good points for McLaren. But we will move on to TES Carroll, because once again he finds himself up on the podium. Carroll, welcome.
Right, lads. Wow. That was a decent race, wasn't it?
It was great.
It certainly was,
I think
especially from our perspective.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed that way.
I'm gonna steal Jamie's thunder again here. I think I'm just gonna say, like, I think you had probably the loneliest race in terms of podium possibility. How did it feel from your point of view, from start to finish?
Well, obviously the aim was to get back up onto the podium, especially after getting pole in quali. Didn't think it was a good lap at all. Like, that's probably one of the scrappiest pole laps I've ever seen in my life, and I'm the one who did it. But yeah, I think like it was a pretty boring race from my point of view. We'll have to look back at the stream and see what else happened. I'm sure Madman's probably feeling the same. Probably wasn't the most exciting race of all time for him either. But I did quite enjoy the move on sways after the safety car restart. I thought that was a decent move. So yeah, not else I can really say except for P2. I'll take it.
So I will jump in quickly. You now find yourself in P2 of the championship behind
Yep.
Andy. You have jumped
Sways.
TS Swayze by 7 points. Could you push it? Do you feel that result can give you the capabilities of pushing on and maybe, just maybe, winning the championship?
Well, I feel like I'll have to win a race first to even think about that. This is my fourth P2 of the season, so
Well, look, mate, we've seen championships before where one guy's only got one pole position, one win, and finished second in the championship through the last race of the season. So don't count yourself out without a win.
well, I wouldn't even. I'm not even surprised that I'm like in amongst the top end, because like even since starting league racing, I'm like consistency first, performance second. Cause
Big head. Sorry.
like,
You talk about consistency. In the previous 9 rounds, including this round, you have been in the points.
yeah, well, every single
never
race
been outside
I've
of the points.
started in XFR, yeah, I've been in the points. So
Which is probably the best statistic you could ask for, to be fair. Because you, like you say, I mean, this is your first game where you're going to have a full season, a full league of just constant racing. You know, it's your first full season, and you're in for a shout at a title already. That, I mean, I'm not gonna. Hopefully, I don't put a curse on you, but that is some serious progress.
yeah, absolutely. But like Andy's been something else so far this season. I think the last couple of rounds he's sort of shown that he is in fact human, and he can make a couple of mistakes and not finish first. So it is promising to see that, and to see that I'm gaining points on him. But it's still a long season yet. There's still what, like 14 races left, 13, and it doesn't get easier from here. So just have to take each race as it comes and see what happens.
Well, I mean, for me,
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else, but congratulations on the second place, mate. Congratulations on the pole as well. I mean, it was you think it was scruffy, but it got you the pole position that you needed to get yourself into where you were. So congratulations.
Cheers. Yeah, second of the season. Like, obviously the win would have felt nice after that, but I think Madman was purely unbeatable today. He just was on it from lap one.
I think your win's coming, mate. I think your another win is coming your way. So just have that patience. You never know where it's going to get you.
Yeah, well, as you said, this is only my first proper full season in league racing, like, so I'm not in any hurry to get my first win.
You're younger than most of us.
Yeah. He only turned 18 last week, like, so still got time.
There's always time.
Yeah, so once again, T.S. Carroll, congratulations on your 4th P2 of the season, and thank you once again for taking part in the podium questions. Now we'll move on to a first
If you get it out.
excuse me, a first-time podium sitter for this season. Swaffer, welcome to the podium, and I have no idea if we've been getting your name right. Yeah. Awesome.
He's been watching.
Just want to check, because it is your first time. Have you included your audio? Might want to do that.
If you go onto your party and then include it, you'll be broadcasting. I had to be the guy that coughed.
Are we good? Can we go?
Well,
Yeah, we can hear you.
we can hear you.
We can hear you.
If you got if
Can
you're
the
on,
stream hear you?
yeah, if you're
That's the
on,
thing.
if you've gone into the party, so if you've gone into the party that you're in and you've clicked tick to include my audio, then you should be good. That's all right. Home button. Over to parties and chats. Into party. Include my audio. You should be good. We are experiencing some technical difficulty here, guys. Please bear with us.
We've got you. I've just gone onto my stream and we can hear you. So, right, that's all done. Right, Swaffer, welcome.
Yes.
Let's try that again. How are you feeling after that race?
Yeah, I'm really happy with the podium. Obviously, there's a lot of guys there that are a lot quicker than me, so it's nice to fight for podium. So, but no, it's a bit of a mad race.
I don't think that quite cuts it. Mad race.
Is a bit of an understatement. And obviously the penalties certainly helped you there. Andy had, I think, 23 seconds worth of penalties.
Yeah.
Obviously not everyone would have known that. But
No,
we
that's
knew
right.
it.
I mean, I
Someone
knew there was
told
going to be a
us,
lot of penalties on this track. There always is on this track. So if you keep it clean, it's quite easy to jump a few places, as I did there. So
Yeah, so fantastic result for you. Gunhead, I'm going to hand over to you because I need to go and do something quickly.
That's all right. I've taken the lead all the way. No, I've been absent for a bit, but I am aware this is your first XFR podium. How do you feel qualifying helped you in this race, and how do you think your race pace sort of translated across? Because I know, like you say, this is your first podium and penalties played a part, but I feel like you did have really good pace and you managed to close the gap on the two cars in front of you that were fighting for that podium spot. You managed to get yourself into a position. How do you feel that that worked for you.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite surprised. I managed to get second in quali, and then the race started, and I just really struggling with rear grip on the soft tyres. They were terrible tyres. Felt much more comfortable on the mediums, but no, it's good. I'm really happy that I got into third. But my race pace, I think, was not up to scratch compared to my quali time. So that's something to work on.
Would you feel like maybe your best tracks are yet to come, or do you think this was probably one of your chances where you could have, like you did tonight, take that podium just on the penalties? Or, like I say, do you feel like your best tracks are still coming?
Yeah, some of them I like. Obviously, some I don't. So it's a bit of a mixture coming up. Canada, I generally go okay at. So it's a bit of a surprise to finish so high. But yeah, I can't complain with third.
Personally, I mean, I watched the race from quite a nice vantage point, and I think you had the pace the whole way to get yourself into a good spot. And like you say, and like we've all said, penalties are a key factor at this track, and getting yourself into that podium spot. I mean, just keeping a clean race at places like Canada and Russia and tracks along the same line. It's not easy to keep yourself in a position where you can take the podium spot off the guys ahead, and you managed to not do anything silly. You managed to keep yourself as clean as you could, and you took the podium. And congratulations on that. I've raced this track many times, and I've either crashed or given myself. Oh, at one time I disqualified myself from penalties, so
Right,
it's one of those tracks, isn't it? It's a Marmite track, so you've got to take the positives. And if you say, like you say, that this isn't maybe one of your best tracks, your strongest pace tracks, you've done a great job tonight, and I expect to see you on the podium more from your pace.
Hopefully.
I think we will. I think we'll see the three of you on the podium more. For the rest of this season, do you think you're capable of taking a win? Maybe now that you've got this sort of podium behind you, or do you think that that's maybe for another season?
Yeah, I think that's probably a little step too far, unless there was an absolute crazy race. But
I've seen crazy
I think
races.
that's probably just a little bit out of my reach at the moment. But keep practicing. You never know what will happen in the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got. Congratulations on your podium, mate. Your first one of the season. You've got yourself some great points. I've got no other topics to cover with you tonight. But I mean, to all of you guys tonight, you've all done a great job tonight. It was great to watch the battle for third place, the battle across the whole thing. It was great to watch. So congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Yep, and for me, just fantastic result for you guys. Hopefully we can see more races like this in the future. Thank you for joining us. Now, before we end the stream, Gunhead, we don't usually do this. I was thinking of getting Roland and Sambo on.
I think that's a good shout. Based on the race they had tonight, I think that's a great shout. If the other three are happy with doing that, that's fine with me.
What, share my glory? Yeah, go on then.
It's just because of the battle.
You say that,
I'll watch the stream.
Swaffer took the glory from that battle.
I will watch it back, because I've literally I sat there out front and thinking, oh, don't bottle this. I'm on my own.
I've been there, madman, don't worry.
Do you know, before the safety car came out, I was at that point where I could have damaged my front wing, gone in, replaced it, and I would have come out.
Yeah.
Like,
You
and then
would
the safety
have.
car
I think
comes
first
out, and I was
stint,
like, fuck.
the second stint before the safety car came out, I think you had 20 seconds or more, or maybe a little bit less. So, but either way, if you
16, I think.
I think if you decided to do a one-stop box for hard tyres, you would have won the race by probably another 16 seconds. I think on that one, that was like it was one of those drives, I think, where I did it in Russia in F1 in XL. Apart from like right up until I decided to box on the safety car, where I thought, well, if I just keep it clean, don't do anything stupid, and just drive on the track, I'll be fine. And you've done exactly that all night. And like you say, if you took damage, I think if you boxed onto hard, you probably would have taken that, even if you did take damage.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think it was, when it hit lap 30, I was just half throttling around the entire track, because I just thought, you know what, these tyres are fucked. They're just going to get worse. I'm not going to push them. I sat in standard, and I was like, if I need to, I'm going down to clean, because I knew that Andy behind me had 12 seconds of penalties at that point. So I thought there's no point,
You don't want to overdo, yeah. You don't want to push yourself too far and cause a mistake that's not necessarily required. You do get that.
Yeah, it was. I've done it a few
Myself,
times already. You know, just taken what could have been an easy win away from me.
Yeah. I've seen it
Right.
from myself. I've seen it from other guys, and it's easily done.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to cut in there, but we will end the stream there. Roland and Sambo aren't joining. Sambo isn't even online anymore. So we will wrap things up here. Once again, massive congratulations to TES Madman on his first victory of the season, TES Carroll for yet another P2, and Swaffer for his first podium of the season. Hopefully many more to come. Thank you for joining, chaps.
Honestly.
At least someone answered.
Yeah, thank you.
And once again, massive thank you to TES Gunheads. Cheers for jumping in once again, buddy.
Yeah, man. If I'm free, I'll always be here.
Yeah. And thank you for everyone that has watched live and that will be rewatching this Canadian Grand Prix. But
My man's gonna
for
fall
this
asleep
week-
watching it.
we are going to end the Canadian Grand Prix on a high. TES Madman takes victory here at Canada. Join us next weekend for the French Grand Prix. Thanks for watching and good.